Hey everyone, my name is Venti and I recently got the chance to play Necrosmith on the Nintendo Switch. Now this game is scheduled to release tomorrow and its publisher Merge Games were kind enough to provide me an early key for preview purposes, so instead of a full review this is more of a quick overview of what the game is all about. Okay, so first of all, this game originally came out on PC about a year ago with very positive reviews on Steam, and it's currently listed with a price tag of $8 on the eShop. Although there isn't actually a pre-order available, so there is a chance that there might be a launch discount, as has been the case with other games from the same publisher. Now in this game you will be a necromancer, growing your army of undead to raise nearby enemy bases, while at the same time trying to defend your own tower. Your ultimate objective is try to escape this land by building some sort of device, but you will need a ton of resources to do so. The gameplay itself is very unique, as it's kind of a tower defense, auto battle or roguelite, where your units basically go out and battle enemies on their own, using attacks every few seconds just like they would in a game like Vampire Survivors. The main gist of the game is combining body parts to create your own custom undead. This will make them benefit from both the stats of these parts as well as their unique attacks. For instance, giving your Frankenstein creation an orc arm with a shield will boost its defenses, while adding a vampire head will make it bite every few seconds. There are a ton of body parts with their own stats and attacks, and for me it was definitely the best part of the game, as it was really cool just mishmashing and coming up with a cool zombie cyclops with wings who would just outspeed everything, or a hulking mechanized treant who could just stand there and take a ton of incoming damage. Now, after you create these disgusting abominations, your loyal minions, they will go out exploring on their own, slaying enemies and capturing outposts along the way, which might give you resources or upgrades. They will do this on their own, however, and you will be taking more of a backseat on that general role. A day will pass every minute of play, and at the start of each day, all your captured outposts will yield their resources so you can continue creating even more on that. There's also a timer that counts down to 0, at which point a sort of boss encampment will spawn right next to your tower, so you have to be ready. And even if you manage to kill the boss, which is extremely difficult on the first run, another timer will appear with the enemies and subsequent boss getting progressively tougher. Eventually you will be overwhelmed, and when your tower's health reaches 0, the run will end. However, you're able to keep all the gold you've accumulated to be able to spend on upgrades such as getting higher tier zombie parts every day cycle, or unlocking new spells for you to actively use. This is the main way of progressing through the game, as you will be able to push for longer runs with these enhancements. And this gold isn't lost upon starting a new run, so you can save for a big upgrade. Okay, so going a little bit deeper into the game, from what I've experienced so far, I really like the pixel art, and some of the undead creations you assemble end up being hilarious, like this handsome fella right here. And I even created a mechanized treant with hacksaws for arms. The future is now, guys. On the other hand, I found the game's UI to be a little bit wonky, especially on the start. When trying to get used to it, it's just not very intuitive. And it's often difficult to tell if you're stuck in one of the menus on the screen. I did struggle a bit with this. Also, there are no touch controls for handheld, which is a big miss if you ask me, especially for this type of game. Now, let's talk about the game's AI, which is what I think most people will struggle with at first. Since your minions aren't tactical geniuses, their brains are kind of rotten, right? They will just go out exploring outward as soon as you spawn them. So if you are not prepared, you will quickly find your base attacked without any of your forces to defend it. So for this, you can always command a minion to stand still next to your base. The thing is that some micromanagement is required, as standing still will prevent your undead guard from kiting the attackers, and his own life will swiftly be put to an end. So you will have to react to the incoming enemies by either directly controlling the unit yourself, or set it to its default explore state, which will make it automatically do this, but might end up running so far he might not be around to defend against the next wave of attackers. So depending on whether you like this type of mechanic, which is kind of a more backseaty approach, where you do have to plan and prepare, but at the same time must intervene here and there with a bit of micromanagement, you might really enjoy this or be completely put off based on this. Okay, so let's talk about the performance, and I feel this is where the game really struggled, as almost inevitably in the later waves the game will just massively stutter, and the frame rate dropped to what I believe was below 10 FPS, as you can see in the footage. Now, as I mentioned, this happened on the later waves, as much more enemies are not only on screen but on the ever-expanding world your minions uncover. Now, with the auto-battler nature of the game, this may not be a total game breaker. However, I did struggle when trying to control my units, as it became impossible for me to do so at some point and would just set them to explore to hopefully manage the defense on their own. Now, at the time of recording, I have already downloaded an update for the game, which is the version 1.1, but it is not uncommon for developers to release a day 1 patch to address these types of issues. So once the game comes out, I will check if there's a performance patch or any news regarding this, and there will be a pinned comment down below with this information. Overall, I did enjoy the game, although I haven't been able to finish it so far. I do hope the performance issues get patched and maybe even add touch controls, as I feel the game has some very cool elements, especially given its price and how often merge games likes to put their games on sale. With just a bit more work from the devs, this could be a no-brainer, no pun intended. And those were my first impressions of Necrosmith, which comes out tomorrow and has a listed price of $8 in case you want to pick it up. So thank you very much for watching, and I do have a couple of videos planned for this month, so you might want to subscribe for that. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!